Okay, where are we going? Let's power up this system. Whoa. We have some really nasty weather here. Okay, I need to get going. Till I'm facing this way, and then we're going to head off towards where I got to drop this geological scanner. But man, this weather... Oh, that's where my... Never mind, drop it. That's where I got to pick it up. This weather is really not very friendly. Where? There it is there. Okay, so I got to aim for that. But the weather is pushing me in the wrong direction. This is where it gets hard. In fact, I'm about to fall down and run out of altitude. So I'm just playing a little more of this. I don't know, I find it strangely addictive. Like, to see the new... You know, as things go on, the weather gets more and more extreme, and I start to, like, see some cool stuff. Okay. So now I gotta turn around in this tiny space. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That is the amount of space I have to maneuver? I'm trying to make this thing... Oh, man. I need to turn this thing around because that's where the back of it is. Ugh. But they've, like... They've basically put all their loot and everything there. Okay. So I'm gonna try this. Oh, crap. No, 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 no. Man, they're like, let's put some towers right near that thing that you're trying to land in. Oh, and I'm like totally holding the button. Oh, man. Okay, you know what? Let's go backwards. Let's go backwards. And I'm descending again. Descending, descending, descending. Okay. So let's try reversing backwards so I can make this happen. Okay. I think I'm going to have to go back and get in more electrical power really soon. Because I'm just like super using up all my power. Okay, there we go. So that's the geological scanner. Now it has to be near the back of my thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say that the for $25 for an early access title with this little content is not something I would normally recommend. But I honestly am playing it, so that's kind of where my, you know, that's my situation. I will be clear though, they did send me a copy. I did not pay for my copy, and you know, that's just sometimes happens. There we go. Okay, now please load up. Please load up. No, it's not loading up. I'm just gonna try and reverse around. Okay, now go forwards. And then go backwards. I gotta try and get that square circle target thing near enough that I can pick it up. Yes! Finally! Now, do I... The new development, the security service has got the best as always. Wait, what? Can I look at the unbelievably charming old game called Evil Genius? I think I have it on Good Old Games, or GOG, as they are now known. Okay, we're looking for this place. So, of course, all these arrows are just showing me where the weather is. And there's a lot of weather going on. Casper! Yes, I hear you are manning a polling station in the Netherlands. Great to hear. You know, people always doing important services to, you know, society and all that. So yeah. So yeah, I hope you have an excellent day tomorrow. Today, you know what I mean. Can we have you conquer the world? What, the Dutch or me? Oh, me as the evil genius. I'm not sure you really want me to conquer the world, because I'll just make more rockets. Man, it was such nice weather before I started, but then this storm blew up, and I am losing altitude too quickly again. Just get out of this dive. I have a really... We get updrafts, and then downdrafts, and then side drafts, and... Oh, what the heck? How am I gonna drop this thing here? Let's just try and touch down gently. Okay, okay, let's see. Can I ditch this here? Yes, we are receiving scanner data. Oh man, next thing. Where's the next target? Next one is at W Research. Can't lift it without the advanced engine. So basically, I think I need to go to a station nearby and upgrade. So this is security service base. I'm going to go back to this base for now. Because what can we buy from there? I need to do some trading, I think, to make money to upgrades. These guys want drone batteries. These guys do not sell drone batteries. The Spaceway. They can take used service drones. What does this guy sell? Containers, interplan surface drones, and links. Okay, nope. The developer of this game is called Razor. Just hold on. I'm gonna go back to this station and just like land and try to figure out what I can do. And we'll figure out where I can buy things. Oh, okay, there we go. So at least I've got the thrust to get off the ground. We'll go to the security station and then we'll try and figure out what materials I can trade around. But the weather is just really fighting me right now. Again, I can push this button and see where the wind is, and it's kind of cool. You get to see how it runs and hits the land and forms an updraft, which is a pretty cool thing to see, to be honest. Where's this base? It must be... Oh, there it is, right ahead of me. I just have to be careful I don't get thrown into the actual walls here. Now, there is a runway, actually, I can aim for. The problem is that because of orientation rules, it's actually very hard to get myself oriented correctly, and I am also descending too quickly because I wasn't paying attention. There is the recharge station. That's what I really want. I'm going to slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Okay. Is the weather procedural? Yes, the weather is procedural, obviously. Although I think the script, the kind of set of mission... Oh, look! Meteor, the cyclone has passed. Excellent. Thank goodness. Okay, this is obviously a scary part of the world, so I can land a little more easily now. Oh, hallelujah! Cyclone cleaned up. Oh, yes. Oh, this game again. Big TJH. Obviously, gives me the impression not the best. Not the biggest fan. But I'll play some Kerbal very soon. It was a pretty abrupt weather change. I totally agree. But let's find out what I can buy. I can buy micro drones. I can buy shielding. Cargo is classified, and multiplan surface drones. So, wait, micro drones for internal. Oh wait, this is the links one, right? Micro drones for internal works. This one is there, and that becomes 11,600. So that's good. Yeah, let's do this. Let's buy the Lynx drones. So push this button. Select. Oh wow, that's 7,500 though. I think I might have trouble lifting those, right? I think that'll like make me exceed my capacity because of the weight limits. Your YouTube video on the game didn't fill me with enthusiasm. Yeah, well, that's you know, I totally understand not everyone is super excited for all these many things. Let's go here. Maybe they'll have something. Or the research platform has samples of stuff. This has G-type batteries and Raglor Transit. Let's go to the Spaceway thing. Bio-supplement. Because this is the problem, is everything's too heavy. What does this need? Used service drones, empty batteries, samples of flora. Samples of flora. And that's like an invisible thing here. This is looking for rations. Now the rations are available from one of these places up here. Oh yeah, let's go to the research platform. Now wait a second, this place, yeah. I'm trying to find something. I don't think, if I buy the stuff, I don't think I can take off with it. I think that's the problem. There's been an early access VR simulator for quite some time. Oh, this place likes the canned coxcomb. Good to know. Why do the security people like canned coxes? Yeah, you know what? Okay, let's buy these drones and see if we can fly with them. If not, oh, not this. Let's actually see if I can fly with them. It might just make me too heavy to fly, which will be a real problem because I've used up all my money on it. So now it should show me what locations will buy it. See, it tells me for 11,600 I can take it there. And for 15,000 I can take it there. Livermore. That's like Livermore, but more. This seems to be like a bunch of hardware and everything. Oh, and that's where the shielded Livermorium container goes. Let's target that one and see. 53 kilometers. I think I can manage 53 kilometers, assuming I can get off the ground. That's the main thing. So let's try this. Ready? Oh, just not quite. I wonder if I can take... you know what? Now I'm interested. Can I take off using that runway? So hold on. I'm going to refuel. So yeah, I can actually taxi towards a runway. So let's try that and see if I can actually take off horizontally. Do you think the KSP expansion is worth it? Well, obviously I'm a big fan of supporting developers, you know, regardless of what people are saying. I would like to see more of the missions. I think the missions are a lot of fun, and I'm actually going to play some of the stock missions soon. Because we went and fixed various things. What's tonight's flight plan? We're going to actually try flying this thing like a plane from liftoff. Because we have a runway here. Uh-oh. Let's not do that until we're ready to go. Here we go. We have a runway. I've never tried a horizontal takeoff in this aircraft before, so that's kind of interesting. Just got to get it lined up. I think we're about as close as we're going to get. Airspeed 60, 70, 80, 90, and we get into the air. Excellent. Okay. Now we're actually turning a little high, so I'm just going to use horizontal turning instead. Now I gotta turn back towards where my target is. It does not turn particularly well, that's what I've noticed. Like, seems to take a small eternity to turn this thing around. And it seems that the roll is somehow coupled to the compass. But look, I'm kind of starting to head in the correct direction, so that's good. Now I can actually pop in this button here and manually set it so that the throttle just maintains itself and instead of me having to micromanage it. There we go! So that's kind of cool. Horizontal takeoff did in fact work. I'm going to throttle down just a bit because the Cyclone... when it hits and you're high altitude, you start getting hit by lightning and stuff. Is GDC 2018 held in my basement? No, apparently the game updated information did not propagate, which is pretty hilarious. Once again, I don't know, I think Twitch just doesn't propagate when I click the button. But yeah, GDC is actually happening near my office, so I've been going there like at lunch times and hanging out with people. Who was it I saw? I saw Ben Prunty today, and because I'm kind of in pain because I injured myself yesterday, so I wasn't able to go to his gig, but he's doing a gig tonight at the DNA Lounge with a bunch of other video game music people, and it's kind of cool. But yeah, I also got to see Phoenix Point, which is looking a lot like, what do you call it? Looking a lot like XCOM, as in very, very close in terms of the visual style for the game maps and everything. And it's interesting because obviously XCOM is an Unreal Engine thing, and Phoenix Point is a Unity thing, right? Yeah, Nightbot surely should be good at it, but Nightbot clearly wasn't doing his job. His or her job, whatever. Let's see, I saw a game called Astronaut the Best, which is kind of a weird astronaut training game. Pardon me just having some sip of some tea here, because tea is going to keep me calm. And of course, the nice thing is that although I was having a hard time taking off, now that when I get to the other end, I'll be a lot lighter because I'm going to have run out of fuel. One of the things I did observe, it just took us a while to figure out last time, but yeah, filling up your aircraft with fuel does tend to mean that you actually get heavier, because apparently their constant of the speed of light or whatever, you know, E equals mc squared, is much, much lower. Not sure why, but yeah, they call it charge, but it's really more fuel. I don't know how you all manage to keep your fingers on the pulse of upcoming titles. I don't either, and I certainly don't feel that I keep my fingers on the pulse of anything. But I do see a lot of games at GDC right now, so there's kind of pretty cool. Let's see, I went to see Zachtronics. So Zach Barf, he was like showing all... He was basically talking about how he's kept on making the same game, except for Ironclad Tactics, which is a game that I now kind of want to play. I know I own it, but I've never played it. It's like a card game with mechs. So I should probably give it a go sometime, because I'm such a fan of Zachtronics games. And and the nice thing was, of course, I've already previously completed Opus Magnum, and he was handing out the completion badges. So I was like, I will take my completion badge. So anyway, yes. Play it later tonight. Well, I'm going to play Kerbal Space Program. You would like to see me play Stationeers. Yeah, I also bumped into Will, who was the guy that kind of introduced me to Stationeers. He's no longer with those guys, but because, you know, apparently he had to move to Britain or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember all these exact... Could you do a video of what you have seen for us that didn't go to GDC? GDC is going to be going all week, and I am absolutely going to be creating more video content because there was a great deal to talk about. A lot of fun stuff. Did he make a card game before card games became popular on Steam? He might have. The funny thing was, today I was... tonight, Orion wanted to play a board game, and it kind of turned out that nobody was available to play it, so I sat down with him, and he got this thing a while back called Codemasters, which is kind of this lame programming board game thing. And the funny thing is, I realized, oh wait, this is basically, you know, a Zachtronics game, but it looks like Minecraft, which suddenly was like, oh wait, it's a Zachtronics game that looks like Minecraft. Okay, we're getting close here. I'm going to slow right down. Gonna transition. There we go. Good timing, huh? Now, just gotta be careful I don't crash, because I've got tons of stuff. Whoa, yes. Don't hit that. Don't hit that. Oh my goodness, weather here. There's the zone that I want to get to. Oh, flying it beautifully. Beautifully. Still no translation capabilities, so no, like, oh, just a little too slow. Just gonna reverse. You gotta be in, like, with your wings in that area to make it work. So I should be able to sell this for some cash. Sell it for cash! Yeah, the red engines go faster. Okay. That's not so bad. I'm gonna start up Kerbal Space Program now. Hold on. Sorry, my... So, I don't know what happened, but basically I hurt part of my body which is referred to as the cocyxx. Now, you may think that's funny, but it's actually the tailbone. The difference between the tailbone and the cocyxx is you're going to get more laughs when you talk about that. Anyway, there's a muscle there that links the two sides of my glutes, and it's kind of hurting. Anyway, let's get an exit to the menu. It's my ass bone. Yes, that's the other way to say it. Let's start up some Kerbal Space Program. Give me 1 minute. 1 minute to go. Kerbal Space Program. And I like how 64-bit is now the default, because 64-bit Kerbal Space Program, that's the business, as they say. I'm not a pain in the... I have a terrible pain in my... And it's not technically my ass. It's between to the things. Hold on, I just realized the game capture is not working correctly. Let's do this. And we have Kerbal Space Program. I actually was just going to play some of the stock missions, because I haven't had a chance to play them all through. Anyway, GDC properly starts tomorrow. Like, the first couple of days, there are sessions, and there's a lot of sessions, but the expo starts tomorrow. That's the place where you can just kind of walk around and see people showing off their games, and, you know, there's crazy stuff happening. Like, last year, there was a midget Mr. T, small person Mr. T. I shouldn't say midget, that's really bad and disrespectful, but he was a small guy, and you obviously don't want to disrespect Mr. T. Did you make a legitimate Stay Putnik? Yes. Let's go into the stock mission. So we did Trouble in the Void, and I've already played this, apparently, but... okay, I think we've already done this. So let's try To the Moon via Minmus. Let's see how this goes. I don't think... Some of the missions are interesting, as in may you live in interesting times. This mission recreates the heady days of the early lunar probes. You start ready to launch to the stars, and your objective is ambitious, but the PR team assures us it's worth the risk. Reach Minmus Soy, and that means sphere of influence, obviously. It doesn't mean the soy farms on Minmus. A mystery goo to release in orbit. I think by release they mean run the experiment, but I could be wrong. I'm going to say the clearance on these is quite a lot bigger than I would normally expect. Okay, just remember to stage while in Kerbal to let goo go. Wait, I'm really confused. I'm not sure about this writing. Okay, but anyway, we're going to throttle to 100%, and in fact, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the thrust limiter on the core lower so we have more thrust available, you see? Oh, yes. Okay. Let's get this thing going sideways. This thing, we are going to have epic flames. That's what we're going to have, epic flames. Let's just check these numbers. Orbit Kerbin, release mystery goo from somewhere. Experiment must be performed for completion. Okay. Yeah, I think we're doing fine here. I'm just kind of I'm wondering, are we arcing over too quickly? But I think we're absolutely going to be fine here. We are going to get some epic... Oh, that's interesting. The lighting is crapped out. It looks fine for me here. That is actually really interesting, because it looks really dark on the window here. I don't know how that happens. I wonder, maybe there's something. Korolev Cross. Oh damn, that really hurt my butt again. Okay. Is there public access to GDC? You know, there's a couple of areas that you can kind of head into, but most of it is all behind badged areas. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and if you know who to talk to, there's a lot of parties you can get to without a badge. And I'm obviously not the person to talk to, because, you know, I'm certainly not going to tell you to go to a party that isn't official. I'm just going to shut that down now. I should probably deploy my protective shell. Nice! The air just catching that. Oh, we have RCS thrusters. Good. GDC, Games Developers Conference. The best... I'm a nerd. I like video games, and there is much to be said for the Games Developers Conference, because basically it is full of people that like to make video games. They can program, and they can talk about games. So, like, what's not to like? I think there must be some sort of filter that's making this darker, because it looks stupidly dark. Transform, order. You know what? Let's do this. Nope. No. I don't know why that is wrong. That is the most bizarre thing. Well, anyway, we're getting close to our altitude here. Now we got to get out to Minmus, right? I'm not going to do the equatorial thing. Test Apple apps. There we go. Periapps of 30. 80. Oh yeah, we get plenty of time to do this. Yeah, we're extra inclined. Personal thoughts on the R7. It's kind of like a classic rocket, I guess. That's what you're saying? You know, that's the challenge of Woomerang, yes. Well, actually, you can create any launch sites wherever you like. The reason it's called Woomerang is because some of the devs are Australian. Let's be clear. Okay, here we go. We're just going to make our thing happen. And actually, I could totally throttle that up to 100% if I wanted. There's at least 2 of the devs I talked to were in Australia. But yeah, if you want to see all the details of the R7 rocket, I made a video last year for the 60th anniversary of Sputnik talking about the history of the R7 rocket and all its variations, right? So obviously they pretty much took that design and just iterated on it and produced various well, iterations on it. Duh. Does that make sense? Okay, let's see where we are. Periapps, I'm just going to bring that up just a touch. Bingo. Okay, that's pretty close. Now, I think I need to do a mystery goo experiment in Kerbal orbit. Now, do I have mystery goo here? Somewhere around Kerbal. Okay, is that the only mystery goo? And then orbit Minmus, and then gravity, radiation, mission failed. Okay, observe mystery goo. Okay, I have observed the mystery goo. Experiment must be performed for completion. So I'm not really clear about this. Am I supposed to do it in orbit? And then transmit it back? I'm going to try transmitting it back and see if that fixes it. Yes, try it. Uploading data and... Yeah, release mystery GUIX. Oh, does not show up. That's very frustrating. It says somewhere around Kerbin. I've performed the okay, well, never mind. Anyway, let's get to Minmus. Check selected parameters for vessel. Test apoapsises between this and that and that and the other thing. Set as target. So where is Minmus? Is down there, right? So if I add a maneuver, I should be able to get to Minmus like that. So what we're gonna just basically what could have been done to make the N1 rocket work? Well, they could have had like one of the good people involved instead of Valerie Mishin. That's really and you know what's his face? Glushko could have got over his pride and just like made better engines. That was the real thing. So what happened was basically Korolev, you know, they'd had their big thing and everybody had their ideas, and then politics kind of got in the way. Glushko didn't want to do non-hypergolic engines, and Korolev wouldn't allow the N1 to have hypergolic engines. Okay, so we're gonna fly around 19 minutes. Wasn't Woomera also the launch site for United Kingdom's only natively developed orbital launch vehicle? That indeed it was. It was the launch site for the Black Arrow, which looked like a lipstick, interestingly enough. Yeah, I've often stated, you know, that I have issues with the United Kingdom's decision to scrap their space program. It was one of the dumbest things in the history of dumb things in space travel. There we go. Making that burn. Now I could probably be doing something to slow down. Whoa, yes, nice. That thing just explodified there. I did not see what explodified, but I guess there's bits of it flying back there. Okay, we're going to slow down now. So what I'm looking for is for this thing to come out there. When it gets out there, it will hopefully have an encounter. And when I see that encounter, that is when I'm going to cut my thrust. Oh yeah, don't get started on the Avro Arrow. No, 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 no. That was another one of these ridiculous decisions. Brilliant! Okay, so let's actually focus on this. Okay, now, good question is, does this... Have I got translation control? Okay, well that's not going to get me very... We shall make some corrections once we get out to about here, right? Now the real question is, do I have any solar panels? Well, let's get out onto the daytime side of things. This would be nice to have some sort of... Oh, I don't want this to do anything but hold attitude. So I've probably changed my course quite a bit now. Wait, transmitters... Yeah, I don't see any solar panels on this thing, so I guess I'm going to have to watch my charge. You know what I should do, actually, is set hibernate in warp to automagic. Okay, 23 hours out. Now I'm going to try and adjust. What you got to do is move your camera here. Well, that's interesting. That doesn't seem to adjust. Okay, try that again. Ah, there we go. So this is just my way to get close to Minmus. You basically have to have the camera sitting on the moon, the target, and focus in. I'm going to focus as best as I can. Test apoapsis between 9,000 and 10,000. Inclination, inclination accuracy 90. Okay, basically, I don't need any worries about inclination, so... It's looking pretty good there. Just a little more. Excellent. So, I'm going to now time accelerate towards that node. Warp to the next maneuver. Apparently searching on Google for Saab Viggen auto-completes to Saab Viggen for sale. Hey, the Viggen remains to this day the only fighter to ever achieve missile lock on the SR-71, just like the English Electric Lightning became the only aircraft to ever achieve... what? Well, what's going on here? Why have I not got... maybe I need to turn these things on. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. Have I got power? I've got no electric charge. What the deuce? So much for that. I thought I told it to hibernate, damn it. Don't think there's any way out of this situation, right? Because they... Also, antennas not deployed, but the antennas are the things that would be consuming power. Because I, hibernate and warp, I was in warp, and I hibernated. So how are you supposed to do this? I should have probably quick saved, right? Check your power. Well, yeah, Alt F12. What was that about the E? Oh, the English Electric Lightning was during an exercise able to intercept and get missile lock on a U-2 spy plane. Is there a second probe body in here? Is that the problem? What is that? Oh, there's a second probe core in there. That's the thing that should have been hibernating. Okay, so I guess I need to restart this mission. I should have saved while I was in space, right? But no. Well, let's at least throttle this thing down a sensible amount. Just, you know, do this the right way. Okay. Once again, back with the incredible Rhyme Animal R7 number 1. Would have nuked him, but I didn't have an active warhead at this time. It says I'm playing Frontier Pilot Simulator. Okay, I'll change that. Kerbal, space program, update information. There, I've hit update. It told me it's updated. And I totally expect that it's not going to accept that. I'm going to just hold this attitude, and I might have made this a little flat. This trajectory may be just a touch flat. We're gonna get very, very hot on our way to space. This is... There we go. A little more thrust here. I'm really curious if this thing can get to space now. Look at the flares on that thing! I think they somehow... I think they need to adjust that just a little. Now we're getting kind of hot here. I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna have enough Delta V to do this, right? Because I'm Mr. Delta V, right? Maybe not. We'll see what happens. Look at this, and we'll cut power once we get up to 100. There we go. Beautiful! Let's just hold that attitude. I think we're going to have just enough to circularize, and then the second stage will have to take us to Minmus. Did you remember to adjust the thrust limiter again? Yes, I did. The problem was that I just turned over a little too quickly. Because you know what? I kind of like aggressive gravity turns. Ah. Yeah, where I am, there's a lot of rail lines which are still, like, in theory supposed to be kept working in case the US is invaded. I am gonna set hibernate and warp to auto, and then I'm gonna keep this thing up. So apparently that thing, I need to do that, but I don't need to... I'm really confused. I don't know what the exact meaning of this thing is. It just says, check for performing a science experiment from somewhere around Kerbal. I guess, okay. So we're going to have that when we're in space. 94. Add maneuver, just want to make sure I have a countdown to this. Okay, now we're in space, I'm going to do this experiment. Observe the mystery goo. The goo seems to have clumped into a sphere. It also appears to have become brittle. Can goo really be brittle? Who knows? Who cares? It's a game. Okay, we're just going to time accelerate towards this thing. Yeah, you can see how much fuel I wasted because of this really aggressive maneuver. But I don't care too much. I think I'll probably still have enough time to get to where I need to go. That should be us being about orbit now. Periaps 90, apots, yeah, there we go. Brilliant. Oh yeah, in fact, overcooked it even. Okay, so now, once again, I'm going to F5 this. Set as target. We're going to perform this maneuver here. And maneuver. Zippity, 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 zip. And I overcook that. Yes, get close, get close, get close, get close. Give me that Minmus love. There we go. Okay, so now gonna warp to next. To next maneuver. Hi, look, the booster falls back to Earth and is consumed in a blaze of glorious re-entry fire. Surely the gods will appreciate this tribute. Though there was actually 100% legit a concept for a, you know, a ballistic missile style troop transportation system. I'm supposed to decouple the one with the mystery goo. Is that really what it is? Are you kidding me? Where's the decoupler, though? That makes no sense. Uh-huh. Okay, I will decouple that. There. Yeah, well, we've left the goo there, whatever. Let's see what happens to this thing. This thing has a couple of transmitters, but it doesn't have goo. Well, anyway, we were going to maneuver, weren't we? Oh, shoot, I just realized I fired straight forward into my spacecraft. I might have to F9 that. Oh, apparently I don't have a quick save. Even better. Well, whatever. I'm not really 100% sure about some of these mission descriptions. Okay, and I'm just gonna warp here and see what happens. Look, my electric charge is not depleting really quickly because the second core isn't happening. Of course, we're going to get out here and have dubious connections, but I care less about that because I want to fire retrograde, and then that'll perform the capture. Wait a second, am I not in the sphere of influence of Minmus? Oh man, that hurts. Sorry. Okay, that's good. Next one, warp to here. Orbit Minmus, 10k. So we gotta get our periaps is between 9,000, whatever, so let's make that happen. Okay, so I do not have access to super high accuracy thrust, and I can't change the thrust limiter. I can't do this, so what I'm gonna do is wait until I'm on the other side. Actually, I'm gonna wait until I get out here. So that should get me some signal, maybe? Yes, I get the limited probe control from here. No, the RCS wasn't working either. I tried it. Should make our Kerbal space program challenges more interesting. I agree. I'm very much looking forward to some serious challenges from the devs coming out this way. So that's 12 kilometers. That is 10. There we go. That's a good place to be. Now, warp here. See what we see. There is Minmus below me. There is Minmus below me. Okay, so now, excellent. So I gotta get this. And that is us between 9 and 12 kilometers. So this thing should be like, yes, no, it's not working. Stability time 5 seconds. It doesn't even show. So basically, the mystery goo thing hasn't triggered for me. So the mission is bugged. So let's test for whether an experiment has been done. Let's do that gravity scan, right? Log the gravity data and check when time since chosen node M3 dialogues operator greater than. Display message via... Yeah, okay, let's just try and land this thing on Minmus. So I gotta make sure it's on the correct side though. The problem is that the sun is there and Kerbal is there. So it might be some time. Okay, shall I go back to the main menu and then try the moon mission? Exit to the main menu. Oh, no, I didn't want to go to the mission builder. I wanted to go to the mission player. The mission player being me, obviously. Play missions. Stock missions. Meet me in 0G. Hope you've got your... You'll need to launch 2 separate and rendezvous docking operations. Perform this maneuver. You'll launch an Aegina into a circular orbit. Once the Aegina, you'll launch the Gemini and a rendezvous with the Aegina. Great! Let's do that. I hope they've built something. Oh, well, thank you, Yo Mike. I appreciate compliments like that. Okay, so launch the Aegina. Once the Aegina's in place, launch the Gemini. And look, it's sort of looking a little more like a Titan. Look at that LR87 engine there. Not sure what's going on with the upper stage, but actually it's an Aegina, so that makes a little more sense than... Okay, anyway. Ready, and... Oh, we're a little heavy here. So I'm going to put it straight up right now, because that is not accelerating as fast as I would normally like. Oh, man. Yeah, there were some cool ideas about putting like a SWAT, not a SWAT team, but like a Special Forces team in a pod that would launch on a missile and it would land kind of behind enemy lines. But the pictures they had... They showed them also flying around on jetpacks. And so, yeah, jetpacks haven't quite made it into the armed forces either. Okay, let's do this. This is, I'm going to say this is pretty heavy for this thing here. I'm just going to try and hold that attitude a little long. Hey, your ship is lighter than we thought. The bad news is because one of the technicians forgot to fill a fuel tank. Which one? Because these all seem pretty full to me. Yeah, I think that's an error. I think the thing is supposed to have a... I think that's a bug in the mission. That it's actually supposed to have an empty fuel tank. Because it looks to me like if they hadn't made that thing slightly empty, then it would not have got off the ground. It's true, yeah. Like, if a viable jetpack... that could be used by people, you know, by troops, could exist, then it would absolutely be used and tested by military and everything. Okay, so we got to get up to this 300-kilometer orbit. So that's pretty easy, and I'm pretty much like right on course for it. I don't even need to worry about my super steep ascent here. Yeah. Well, I think I remember during the Cold War was the US couldn't quite field an entire airborne division that would match what the Soviets could deploy. What do you mean? People are making these assumptions. Jetpacks would be awful in combat, though. Listen, I'm sure if there was a tactical advantage, they could make it work, right? I mean, there's got to be some advantage to being able to fly, right? 100. Oh. Oh, wow, I ran out of fuel exactly. Brilliant. Just, like, let these things separate. We got a nose cone up here and everything, huh? Now, are there any things that I should be deploying right now? I should probably open this, right? See what's in it. Oh. We've got some tanks, we've got a core, which I'm going to set to hibernate in Z-warps, which is always... There's almost never a reason why you would not have the thing hibernating. That's a structural tube, and that's a nose cone. Ah, and that is something we can actually ditch, right? Test whether they are docked. So actually, I should just ditch this thing, right? I'm going to just do this staging now. Beautiful. So we actually have the docking port now visible there. I'm just going to fire my thrusters to ensure some separation. So yeah, this is the LVT-91, which is supposed to be an homage to the LR-91, which is more or less derived from the LR-87, main difference being that it had a single combustion chamber and a vacuum-optimized nozzle. I mean, obviously it had some numbers adjusted to perform pump levels that were appropriate for vacuum, but that wasn't much. Okay. I guess you get it 50-50 and you're going to be fine. 298, 295. That's pretty good. And actually, look, we're pretty close to where this will be, so I'm just going to time accelerate when the thing points in roughly the right direction. Who remembers James Bond, where they launched with a girl on a flying rig on the tip of a Polaris missile? I don't think he had the girl. No, that's a different one. But no, I do know the one where they launched out on a Polaris missile, but I'm trying to remember. Was it Diamond? It was Diamonds Are Forever. No, wait. Diamonds Are Forever. He got to the thing in a submarine, in a ball. No, James Bond movies are awesome. What are you talking about? James Bond movies are all without exception fantastic. Right. Yeah, they are all amazing. What? What are you saying about having a bridge? They're all good. Some of them didn't do too well. Certainly Moonraker is not exactly the most scientifically accurate, but it's still awesome. Because that's the thing. James Bond movies are kind of campy, and the sooner you appreciate that, the better they are. Right? If you are going for realism, James Bond will make you unhappy. If you're going for awesome action movies, then James Bond wins. Yeah, I'm sorry. James Bond, like, he is the man. Like, you see him, like, running around, stuff blowing up, shooting things, everybody's coming out against him, and, oh, yeah, no, we gotta do this still. And he kind of walks out, and his suit is still in perfect condition, and he gets the girl. I don't care what you say. You know, Bond, he is the man. So let's see. Have we got this? Excellent. We could confirmed. Why don't you have some ice cream and enjoy the view while Team Gemini prepares for launch? Oh, yes. I'm about to do something no other Kerbal has done before. Rendezvous and dock with another spacecraft. Your goal is to launch to a 250 kilometer and on and on and on. Great. Let's just target this thing to make sure. Set as targets. So it's good. They actually launch to a lower orbit. So that makes total sense. Oh, where the acceleration is again kind of low. There we go. I can start to turn this just a little. Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne's kind of cool, but he ain't got nothing on Bond. All I'm saying, you know, Moonraker, it's pretty special. Okay, yeah, better actually check that we... I don't know, I've already started emptying the tanks. Good news is we can actually see this thing from the inside. Bad news, double click doesn't work right now. That's something I asked them to fix, but they haven't had time to... It will get fixed. John McClane? Yeah, Die Hard? You know, Bruce Willis, he was great in that, but, you know, he's no Bond. MacGyver has a mullet. Yes. You see, an important part of this is being able to wear a suit, like a pro. Some people miss this important part of it, and they're like, MacGyver is. I'm gonna say I think making a mullet work is what MacGyvering is all about. When they're talking about MacGyvering something, that's literally how do you make a mullet work. The Professional. Okay, so everyone in the US, they call it The Professional. In the rest of the world, it was called Leon. Just so you know. And yeah, that is a fantastic movie. I love that director's work. I even quite enjoyed his recent Valerian movie, even although many people thought it was a bit shallow, and I agree. But no, I love Luc Besson's movies. And I do actually, you know, one of the best bits in The Professional in Leon is, yeah, there's this amazing moment where he does a panning, he does a tracking shot with an explosion, and that, like, if you try to figure out how they filmed that, that's pretty smart. So actually, Aquila Hawk 2001, there was supposed to be a Sean Connery cameo in Skyfall, which would suggest that all the Bonds were in fact code names, right, and confirm this kind of fan theory. However, he was unable to get it. Fifth Element is a pretty amazing movie. Any thought on David Lynch as a filmmaker? I have no. I love David Lynch. Yes. Oh, whatever. Like, Valerian is a comic book movie, and that's how you just got to treat it. Yeah, I am looking forward to new Doctor Who, of course, because, you know, Fortune Cookie said to get in touch with my feminine side and all that. Not serious. I very much looking forward to having a new Doctor Who. 236, 238, 242. There we go. That's pretty good. Yes, there is an original Casino Royale, which is completely unlike the modern version of Casino Royale. It's a shame. Big TJH says that Doctor Who is dead to him ever since Tom Baker stepped down. There's so many fantastic episodes that you have missed. I'm disappointed. Have I seen the Sunshine movie? Yes, I'm a huge fan of Danny Boyle, and I'm also a huge fan of Underworld. And they were involved with John Murphy for the music to that movie. So yes, of course I have seen Sunshine. I think it was kind of a missed opportunity. I think aesthetically, it was fantastic. I think the production design was great. I think the music was great, but it kind of devolved into like slasher movie in space. I haven't seen Annihilation. It was Amy wanted to go and see a movie called Oh Lucy, which is this fun like Japanese movie. It's a Japanese American movie. The director basically said that it would be considered a foreign movie in either country. But the reason we went to see it was because the director actually turned up, you know, to talk about the movie and answer questions. And I stumped the poor director by asking about, you know, whether the use of a 5-year-old iPhone was an intentional part of the character's portrayal. And she was like, "What?" But yeah, the iPhone is like 5 years old. Really? Do you work at Apple? It's like, as a matter of fact. It is actually interesting because as I tend to go out, you know, GDC's in town, so I have been going out to the conference kind of at lunchtime, right, to meet people, and then coming back for some more work in the afternoon. And as I was getting back, there was a whole bunch of Apple employees with their GDC badges going to it because they'd come back to the office for lunch, so it's kind of weird. Yeah, Loving Vincent. Yes, I haven't seen it. I want to see it, and Clint Mansell is involved in the soundtrack, so like that's what matters. You know, I am a big fan of Clint Mansell's work. I remember. Okay, so wait a second. We're 800 kilometers out, so I gotta get down to about 350 here, right? See, no, because I don't work in any of those buildings. I think people have already figured that out. That's all I'm gonna say. I want Rupert Grint to be the first Doctor to be a ginger. Well, that is another important barrier to be broken down, which the Doctor has actually stated on many occasions. Have I seen anime Read or Die? No, I have not seen that anime. My anime skills are pretty darn weak. Do you like the Solaris soundtrack? You mean the modern remake with what's his face? George Clooney and Natasha Michelon? Yeah. I mean, I like, because that was Steven Soderbergh as well, and he did. I was really impressed that he chose to do that movie, which basically we knew would have zero ticket sales essentially, because you know it's it's basically a Tarkovsky remake, right? A remake of an obscure Russian sci-fi movie. Like, how can that not be a huge success, right? Okay, so let's get these 97 kilometers, and that's getting a little further away. So 80, 80, 60, 60, 50, 50, 40, 40, 30. This is me doing my phasing adjustments here. But I mean, I remember seeing Soderbergh's re-edit of 2001, and I actually did feel that it, in many ways, was an improvement on the Kubrick version. And I'm a huge Kubrick fan. Let's be clear. You know, I've got everything that Kubrick ever did as in movies, and I think that Full Metal Jacket is probably the best war movie ever made, because just going through Marine training makes you feel like you've gone through Marine training. Okay, 1.1 kilometers. That's us there. That's us gonna do that burn. Warp to next maneuver. What sci-fi movie would you consider has the most accurate physics? That's a good question. 2001 was boring. Yeah, seriously, this is the thing. 2001 is one of these movies which it's very hard to explain to young kids. Oh, well, Steven Soderbergh went and remade Solaris, so, like, and it looked amazing, but yeah, it was very kind of different movie. The Martian has problems with its physics, though, in a couple of places. Best... Doctor Strange... No. Doctor Strangelove is the best movie about the end of the world. So I mean, let me be very clear. I am an amateur film nerd, right? I'm not a pro, just in the same way as I'm an amateur rocket scientist. So you should not consider any of my movie statements to be statements of fact or anything. Oh look, we're right at the ascending node, so I should actually... What is my difference? Oh, 0.1 degrees, so I should actually... hold on. I should go... That's the ascending node. I should fire this way just a touch. So I'm going to wait until it gets to, like... There we go. That's got our ascending node closer. Intersect distance 1.0. Apollo 13 was definitely pretty accurate, but yes, it does not really qualify as science fiction. It's more a docudrama. Boss Baby is not sci-fi. That's again, no, we're not doing there. We're not going there. 7.2 kilometers. Okay, so we've targeted this object. Let's point ourselves retrograde. Did you see Moon? Yes, I did. Also, quite a fan of that director's work. Again, yeah, he's done some great stuff. I was trying to think. What is his name? I forget. He was David Bowie's kid. Okay, so I'm just gonna say, someone is trying to sell me on an anime as being a hybrid of James Bond and the Da Vinci Code, and I'm gonna say right away, I'm not a fan of the Da Vinci Code. I think it's rubbish. Okay. Oh, crap, 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 crap. I overshot. I hit the wrong button there. I'm gonna have to travel back to it. Sorry. Good news is that I have plenty of room to work here. Ah, man. What an idiot. So, but yeah, I mean, to do, you know, James Bond and Da Vinci Code, I actually kind of worked on a book which was described as that. I offered some technical assistance on the computer security scenes, which, of course, the editor promptly ignored. Moon was directed by Duncan Jones, who used to have a sillier name, but he changed it. No, Mute isn't getting terrible reviews. It's just not getting the ecstatic reviews that Moon got, I would say. He had another... So basically, Mute, Moon, and there's one other which are part of a kind of trilogy set in weird sci-fi, you know, universes. There we go. Just trying to keep it pointed in the right direction. I should be careful about liquid fuel oxidizer. I don't have much liquid fuel left. I hope I can get home. Have I ever seen Cannibal Holocaust? No, because that was... No. It's a kind of lousy movie from what I've heard. Yes, that's a Da Vinci Code is basically ridiculous leaps in logic. It's like Sherlock, the Sherlock TV show, but without the good bits. Okay. Whether you like Wars or Trek, Back to the Future is a fantastic film trilogy. It's all on HBO streaming right now, incidentally. And yes, while the logic is a bit dubious in places, it is quite enjoyable. National Treasure, I enjoyed that movie. I'm just gonna say that. Like, it had a lot of fun stuff in it that I enjoyed, let's say. Exactly. How dare you insult how dare you insult National Treasure by comparing it to Da Vinci Code? And to say, you know, Nick Cage is in some of my favorite movies. He's gone off of the rails quite a bit on occasion, but he was in Kick-Ass, and he was really good in that. Like, he basically was trying to be Adam West, and I can see no problem at all with that approach to acting. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to flip around and face towards the target. Okay. Okay, now I got to figure out where this thing is. So I need to... Okay, so we gotta aim to get in front of this thing. Be very nice if I had some sort of way to... Okay. Oh, man. Can't see crap here. Okay, so I'm totally coming in the wrong way here. So you know what I've made a mistake of doing, of course, is that I had the thing pointing exactly in a inconsistent orientation. So I need to... Nope, I need to rotate it in this direction. That looks a lot better. Of course, normally I would do this in locked mode, but I can't see crap like this. Ah, that's better. That looks like it's lined up. Okay, so target, set as target, control from here. Let's just make it happen now. There we go. Haven't done this docking in too long. Yeah, I mean I've got a ton of movies that I wish I had time to watch. I was watching, was it Elizabeth the Golden Age today, which I thought was fine. It had a bit of few historical inaccuracies. Okay, so we are docked or undocked. Okay, great. And now it says undock now and land on Kerbal. Do I have to wait for like a thing? Or check for a Kerbal going on EVA? I'm going to check. I'm going to go on EVA because it said that. Gemini, this is Gus Kerman. I hate to be the bearer of bad news during a triumphant, but we're reviewing telemetry. I noticed that somehow the ship's self-destruct has been initiated. That means you've got to undock right now and deorbit and return to Kerbal. Okay, B for board. Continue. On... How do I undock? Undock. And then orbit point retrograde. Sorry, I gotta get myself home. Does it give me points for landing near the space center? Because I should probably go for that, right? I think if I put the altitude down to about 50 kilometers, then that should bleed off the speed and then I'll land over the space center. What do you think? Thor Ragnarok was hecka fun. And did you see the video that somebody posted? They basically took the fight scene from Thor Ragnarok and then set it to Bonnie Tyler holding out for a hero, and it just like synced up perfectly. That was one of the finest moments of internet memingness. There we go. Just ditch that thing. Is that, wait, is that where the heat shield is? I'm just curious what's in this. Oh, that's a service module. You see, I think I wasn't supposed to leave that thing detached. And what is this? That's the whole service module. Yeah, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna decouple this. Hold on. Point it radially outwards. and we'll ditch that service module. There we go. Wow, that exploded into a lot of pieces there. Now retrograde. Okay, well, let's see how close we get to our target. Because, you know, I like to, you know, fly there. Has anyone read J.R.R. Martin's Night Flyers? No, I have not. Hey, Crazy Eyes 125. I'm glad you usually tune into the VODs because, well, I can't always be there. Are those orientation buttons left of the Mav Vault? Those are stock. Dun Skavuli, those are stock buttons. They may not be available in every mode because sometimes they depend on probe capabilities or pilot skills. Let's turn the lights on. There we go. Now that looks cool, huh? And we'll get some heat going on in the back, the heat shield here thing. Yeah, we're doing just fine here. So there, the Berry-Apps is going. So I guess we are going to get captured here. I guess I made it a little too low because we're going to drop a long way short of the... we're going to end up a long way short of the Space Center. So they don't have a simulation of Neil Armstrong's famous Gemini glitch. That was something I talked to the devs about. It basically would mean you'd have to try and isolate which thruster was stuck on. So that was one idea, but we haven't quite figured out exactly how to make all those things happen. Yeah, the capsule is reasonably heat resistant, I would imagine. There's those mountain range, the mountain range that we usually end up landing near. I hope we don't actually end up in the mountains. It's really hard to tell because it's dark. Night is no friend of mine. No, no. The issue is you didn't have the correct starting orbit. But I did. I did. Okay, well, whatever. So let's deploy these chutes. So these are the little drogue chutes. And at a certain point, we'll deploy the big chutes. Let's see what we got here. If that ever happens, if that starts going, we need to deploy that thing. Oh, wait, no, sorry, that's descent meter. That is my altitude there. And that is my radar altitude. I don't know how far it is until we reach the surface, so at some point I shall deploy the big chutes. There we go. Both times my apoapse was over 100. You know what? It's kind of... Yeah, exactly. The orbit objective... Okay, well, I thought I had orbited with surprise... Okay, so I think Soderbergh's recut of 2001 was on Vimeo for a limited amount of time, but it got taken down. So I consider myself fortunate to have seen it. And honestly, unless you're a 2001 nerd, you probably wouldn't have noticed big differences. I don't think that you need to... I don't know. I think it comes down to orbit accuracy and the mystery goo. But I do think that the missions they have bundled, they do need to work on the language. Okay, well, Big TGH, I think I cannot tell you where you can find it because where you can find it is probably not somewhere I can recommend. Yeah, check Usenet. No. But I think if you look at Steven Soderbergh's blog, he actually talks about his recut of 2001. Yes, the descriptive language does need a whole lot of work, and I think there maybe should be a project to translate it, because obviously the core game has had the language translated into a whole bunch of languages. So now a whole bunch of volunteers need to come and volunteer to translate all these stock missions into, you know, things like English. I don't doubt that their Spanish descriptions would be great. I think, you know, they just kind of have tried to work very hard. Maybe So 83 perhaps has some pointers to do the 2001 recut, which again, I am not at liberty to discuss. Anyway. And also, you know, while I'm a huge fan of 2001, I am not as negative on 2010 as lots of 2001 nerds are. I actually quite enjoyed that movie for what it was. And almost here. Brilliant! Woohoo! Mission success! Timekeeper completed it in less time. I got gold with the required bronze score points. So which points did I miss? I'm really curious for which points I could have got better. Docking time bonus was perhaps... Oh, Gemini took damage. How did it take damage? Define damage. I'm confused. Would I recommend silent running? Ugh. I think it's important to see Silent Running, but I wouldn't consider it a great movie. It's kind of a cheap it's a cheap cash-in trying to look like 2001, and yeah. It doesn't compare. It doesn't have the mystery and all that. It just has a bunch of American a-holes, you know, doing things. Acapello 15. Oh, well, Silent Running had many... Yeah. Silent Running is the idea that led to MST3K. It does have nukes in space, and the nuclear explosions are actually sort of correct. And it was directed by, yeah. Hey, Philip the Bread. Are you... Well, I don't know, you know what? I think I might just be chilling out, because I need to get some sleep, and I've got some pains and all that, and I've got a busy week. I got a lot going on, so I think I'm just gonna leave it there, and I may come back later. I'm glad you guys have tuned in and all that. So yeah, fly safe.